There's just something about 90s anime that nothing else quite captures. The hand-drawn animation, the grainy textures, the raw and filtered storytelling, it all feels so authentic, like every frame has a soul. This was the era when anime wasn't afraid to be weird, experimental, and even a little rough around the edges. Shows like Neon Genesis Evangelion, Cowboy Bebop, and Berserk weren't just entertainment. They were experiences, pushing boundaries in ways that still resonate today. Even the art styles had this distinct charm. Character designs were sharper, backgrounds were rich with detail, and the music, absolutely legendary. It was a time when anime felt less like a global industry and more like a creative frontier, where passion bled into every cell. That's the magic of 90s anime, enchanting me and many others with its spell. It's easy for me to say that it's my favorite era of Japanese anime. It's not a hard-fought opinion to come by. Some of the most groundbreaking and influential pieces of fiction, not just animated fiction, were born in this decade. And this video is simply just an exercise in self-indulgence for me to praise and share with you all my favorite 90s anime. So make sure to please drop a like, it helps me out a lot, and we shall begin. Let's start off with a bang, and a crash, and a stab, and a gouge, and whatever other gratuitous, beautiful violence you can think of. Because 1993's Ninja Scroll is all of those things and much, much more. Directed by Yoshiaki Kawajiri, Ninja Scroll follows the vagabond samurai Jubei, a mercenary whose past catches up with him, forcing Jubei to ally with a shifty old spy and an untrusting poison ninja. The trio must battle the 8 devils of Kimon, and Jubei must finish what he started all those years ago. Ninja Scroll is an absolute delight for the eyes, a non-stop barreling train of unbelievably cool samurai action, vibrant painted landscapes, and gritty stylized character designs. I would expect nothing less from Yoshiaki Kawajiri, who made sure that each frame of this film was drawn and completed by hand, without the help of copies, reprints, or reused duplicates. The man is blessed with perfection, obviously, because about 7 years later, he heralded the legendary anime movie Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. Watching his evolution from Ninja Scroll to Vampire Hunter makes it blindingly obvious why this man is a master of the dark fantasy genre. This film is unabashedly brutal and unapologetically itself. In my time of watching anime, I've seen few works as bold and unrelenting as Ninja Scroll. The fluid beauty of that opening fight sequence was enough to pull me in, but what truly left an unforgettable mark on me was the unexpected depth woven into its characters and story. Beneath the bloodshed and spectacle lies a tale of resilience, betrayal, and fleeting human connection. Jubei is our classic sarcastically witty hero with a strong sense of justice, and Kagero is a fiercely skilled yet deeply tragic damsel. A lot of the best moments of this film play out in the growing bond between these two. Both burdened by loneliness, they find comfort in each other. An incredible amount of emotion plays out behind the stern character art, encapsulating the coldness of the era perfectly, without neglecting their humanity. I'm absolutely floored with just how much raw feeling is translated by the glimmer drawn into their eyes. It's damn near impossible to find even a single frame of this film that lacks vibrance and personality. There's a surreal blend of tranquility behind the bloody intensity. And for all those impassioned reasons, it champions the boldness and unfiltered grit of 90s anime brilliantly. What an opening, and what an anime. Neon Genesis Evangelion is one of the most popular animes of all time, airing from 1995 to 1996, and created by Hideaki Anno. Neon Genesis shows us a world rebuilt from catastrophe, wherein teenagers pilot gargantuan robot Evas to battle off mysterious angels. Of course, like most anime, that synopsis only scratches the surface of what this multifaceted show is about. Filled with deep themes of inadequacy, self-acceptance, and the human condition, Neon Genesis is much more than just awesome giant robots battling freakishly cool-looking creatures. But of course, that is a wonderfully entertaining aspect of it. It's filled with lovable, complex characters that battle internal and external conflict as a very unconventional family unit. A hilarious family, I might add. And for all the nuanced storytelling and visual appeal of Neon Genesis, it's a lot funnier than people give it credit for. The duo of Toji and Aida in particular have me cracking up whenever they're on screen.
Over the rainbow! でっかいな。よし、今回！待った！
I really wish they had a bit more screen time. The melodrama of teenage and young adult life is just as much part of this story as the bickering military politics that are usually ignored in place of much funner, more adventurous ways of solving the world-ending threats caused by the angels. Neon Genesis has such a range of entertaining qualities that no matter what preference you have in your anime watching appetite, this will have something or someone to feed you. From the serious Commander Ikari Gendo to Pen Pen, from the strategic use of AT fields in battling powerful angels to whatever this was. Ugh. Now, spoilers for those who haven't seen Neon Genesis, but after 24 episodes, a movie, and battling 18 angels, the story culminates in the merging of godlike beings, allowing the fruition of the Human Instrumentality Project, which in shorthand is basically the underlying mission of NERV and primarily Ikari Gendo to unite humanity into a collective human consciousness to rid the world of individual suffering. But it's more selfishly a plan for Gendo to reunite with his love, Shinji's mother, Yue. Now, if you haven't seen Evangelion, this definitely all sounds like a bunch of gobbledygook, but stay with me now. In the cataclysm of it all, Gendo is rejected by Lilith to initiate the project and instead gives the choice to Shinji. In the final 2 episodes, Shinji shifts into a surreal introspective journey, far removed from any episode before and even any sort of traditional storytelling. What we are given is an amalgamation of abstract interpretations of Shinji's internal battles. I was bamboozled. Huh? After a show of fighting mechs, military backstabbing, and melodramatic antics, this was way left field, but fascinatingly exploratory. Mixed with a range of art styles and imagery, I had never seen anything quite like it. And that was the point. Creator Hideaki Anno stated, "Evangelion is like a puzzle. Anyone can see it and give his or her own answer. We'll never offer the answers. Don't expect to be catered to all the time. We all have to find our own answers." The show's ending is a hodgepodge of ideas, themes, and conundrums. It's made to be incredibly abstract, a formula for rife and sometimes heated discussion on the internet, to keep people talking, interested, re-evaluating on each new viewing. But you have to seriously be a mega fan of Evangelion to have watched it multiple times. I can't even keep track of all the current stuff that they keep putting out. Shinji faces an impossible choice. To surrender to a world where all pain and loneliness disappear, or to embrace the uncertainty of individual existence. In the end, Evangelion delivers a deeply human message. That life, no matter how painful, is still worth living. That even though connection brings heartbreak, isolation is an even greater sorrow. And what a lovely message that is. Omedetou. 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 Medetai na. Omedetou-san. Omedetou. The show also features a lot of religious symbols and motifs from Christianity, Judaism, and Kabbalah, leading to the notion that Neon Genesis might be trying to provoke something theological or spiritual from us viewers. But assistant director Kazuya Tsurumaki was quoted saying that they were included basically just because they looked cool. And if looking cool was a competition, Neon Genesis Evangelion wipes the floor with most any other anime. So much so that for years past, the influence of the show's aesthetic can still be seen. The 3rd angel inspired the skull crawlers from Kong Skull Island. The 10th angel inspired the UFO in Nope. And even though Del Toro doesn't like to admit it, there's undoubtedly some Neon Genesis inspiration behind his film Pacific Rim. That era of anime was so incredibly impactful. The influence of 90s anime is seen everywhere. Some of your favorite Western shows or movies could have been inspired by a classic 90s anime and you would never even know. My personal favorite influencees would be Daft Punk's anime Interstellar 5555, and a little off the cuff, but the fact that 90s anime has become the poster child for everything lo-fi. Which, funny enough, shameless plug, I've got a video on how Samurai Champloo and Nujabes helped bring lo-fi hip-hop to where it is today. Check it out! You know damn well I couldn't talk about my favorite 90s anime without mentioning at least one Ghibli movie. Directed by the legendary Isao Takahata, Only Yesterday follows Taiko, a 27-year-old office worker living in Tokyo. Seeking an escape from city life, she visits her brother-in-law's family farm. Finally fulfilling her dream of having family who live in the countryside, she takes up an interest in farming. During her second visit to help with the safflower harvest, Teiko finds herself accompanied by an unexpected traveler, her 10-year-old self. As memories of childhood joys, heartbreaks, and quiet disappointments resurface, Teiko begins to realize how deeply they still shape her. Confronted with nostalgia and self-reflection, she starts to question whether her current life truly makes her happy. Yeah, sounds like a run-of-the-mill synopsis for any old movie. But the brilliance in which it's executed is why I love Only Yesterday so much. Isao Takahata has often been overshadowed by the works of his dear friend and colleague, Hayao Miyazaki. It's no surprise to know that the mainstream public more often gravitate towards Miyazaki's fantastical stories, opposed to Takahata's more grounded works. I can see how people might bore at the idea of animated movies that follow realistic stories. Like, what's the point of even animating it, right? Wrong. Because what Takahata's movies do for us all is beautify mundanity, enchant the ordinary, and romanticize the everyday. One of Only Yesterday's most brilliant artistic choices is how it visually separates Teiko's childhood from her present, letting us peer into the warmth of a memory rather than reality. The flashbacks are soft, almost dreamlike, with a hazy fluorescent glow to them. The minimalist backgrounds with fading white vignettes mirror the way childhood recollections are never quite complete, just fragments of emotions and moments. Teiko's younger self is drawn with bright, expressive eyes and delicate smile lines, capturing that effortless joy of youth, a time unburdened by responsibility. On the other hand, the present is depicted with a heavier, more grounded realism. Sharper lines, richer details, and a more lived-in feel. Teiko's adult face carries the burden of experience, her prominent cheekbones and thoughtful expressions reflecting years of growth and quiet longing. And yet, despite the weight of adulthood, she's all smiles, nostalgia softening the edges of her past, allowing her to find warmth in those distant, carefree days. This contrast isn't just visually stunning, it's emotionally profound, capturing the bittersweet beauty of looking back on a time that can never be reclaimed. Oh boy, do I love some perfectly crafted nostalgia. The voice acting in Only Yesterday is also exceptional. Every conversation feels real, intimate, and deeply human. There's an effortless, almost unscripted flow to the dialogue, littered with pauses, hesitations, and overlapping speech. Toshio in particular is a standout for me. He's relaxed, easygoing, and an absolute charmer, making him an instant source of comfort. The little adorable laughs he shares with Teiko are incredibly precious.
いやでもね
Yet, when he shifts to a more serious tone, there's still quite an intensity to him, making his words feel very sincere. The child voice actors also deserve immense praise. Their voices burst with the genuine excitement, mischief, and vulnerability of real 10-year-olds.
好きなんだけど離れてるのさ
Making Teiko's memories feel just that much more tangible. Every sigh, giggle, and moment of silence speaks volumes, immersing us in Teiko's journey with an emotional authenticity that very few films achieve. Only Yesterday is a heartwarming masterpiece, and to act as a bow to wrap up the present that is this film, the soundtrack only makes the experience sweeter and the eyes glassier. Composed by the brilliant Katz Hoshi, the soundtrack for Only Yesterday is pure, understated magic, gently weaving itself into Teiko's journey like a passing breeze. The soft, folk-inspired melodies perfectly capture both the nostalgia of childhood and the quiet longing of adulthood, making this movie feel all the more personal. And a very special mention to the Japanese rendition of The Rose by Bette Midler that plays over the final credits, because it is nothing short of breathtaking. As it plays, Teiko makes her life-changing decision. Ushered by her 10-year-old self and accompanied by the parade of her 5th grade class, she turns back. And suddenly, every emotion the film has built up rushes in all at once. It's the kind of song that doesn't just accompany the story, it becomes part of its soul, leaving you, me, anyone with that rare, wallowing ache long after the screen goes dark. Every brilliantly curated element of Only Yesterday allows us to relish the small, seemingly insignificant moments of our lives. The moments that come together to form who we truly are. A summer vacation, an argument with our dad, bad grades, our first crush. The little sparks of magic in these moments is so authentically captured in this film. And authenticity is a staple of 90s anime. Art from this era just exudes personality. Yes, Ninja Scroll, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and Only Yesterday are some of my most favorite anime ever. That's mainly the reason why I chose to talk about them. I also particularly picked these three because of how wildly different they are from each other. They embody a truly special time in anime, when artistry, ambition, and raw emotion collided to create a renaissance of culture. The 90s had a way of making anime feel more than just moving pictures. It could breathe, bursting with passion, risk-taking, and emotional resonance. And that's why I fucking love it. Now I just want to do a few quick mentions of anime which I'd love to recommend along with those other three. Princess Mononoke, which amongst Ghibli fans is contested as the greatest of Ghibli films, and even more so, potentially Miyazaki's greatest work. Perfect Blue, a seminal piece of psychological thriller by the late, great Satoshi Kon. I'm currently halfway through Great Teacher Onizuka at the moment, and it's a really, really fun time. My Neighbor the Yamadas, another sweet little slice-of-life comedy by Isa Takahara about a lovingly oddball family, and The Ocean Waves. Had to squeeze in a quick mention and another shameless plug. Since I did make a 25-minute video on how much I love it. Check it out if you got some time to kill. And finally, honorable mentions / my watch list, because embarrassingly enough, I haven't seen these yet. Yes, I know. There hasn't been a single word on Dragon Ball Z in this video, and I agree that it borders on sacrilege to not mention the anime that mass spread the genre to the world. But I haven't seen it, okay? What do you want from me? I'll get to it at some point. I'm sorry. Berserk, which is such a testament to the brilliance of the 90s, because out of the 3 attempts at animating the almost impossible work of Kentaro Miura, this one is said to be the best by far. The others being post-2010, which are botched to shit by CGI. Cowboy Bebop, which looks like fun. And finally, One Piece. Even though most of the episodes came out post-2000, it did technically start airing in 1999. I know I said watch list, but
I'm not watching this! Look!
I'll check out the Wit Studios reboot when it comes out. Well, that pretty much sums it up. There's nothing quite like 90s anime. I do really hope that this video reaches other lovers of the era, because I need more recommendations. So please, let me know in the comments below what your favorite 90s anime is and why. And if you enjoyed this video, I hope you can drop a like and subscribe. And as always, appreciate you watching.